Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second shelf. One of the things that always comes up again and again when I ask my viewers here or on other social medias, what do you want me to talk about? Then a lot of times the topic crime fiction comes up. I read a lot of crime fiction, of course, and I also published crime fiction. I write crime fiction together with another author, and so probably people think, well, why don't you talk more about crime fiction? And it's true, I don't talk about it enough because I really love that genre. So I decided to finally do what you asked and make a new series, Crime Ladies, in which I talk about female crime authors and, of course, books that I like and that I can recommend. So it's not reviews of books that I didn't like or cannot recommend to you. They will probably come up in my Sunday video, the Books Weekly. But here I really want to focus on the positive, on series and authors that I can recommend. And in the first one now in the series, I want to focus on a police procedural series. Now, if you're not that familiar with crime, crime is subdivided into several other categories like thriller and noir, which is very gritty and, spooky, often a psychological thriller. And within that, there are other categories, and one is the police procedural. Now, in a police procedural, as in all crime novels, the crime is obviously central, but the central character is also a police officer. Sometimes you have an ex-police officer now turned private eye, and that's also considered a police procedural, but never mind, this is details of how people, mainly reviewers tend to categorize things. But a police procedural is a crime novel with a central character, a police officer. And today I want to recommend to you two authors and two series that fall in that category, police procedural. And the first author and series I want to talk to you about is Tana French, an Irish author who worked as a voiceover and as an actress living in Dublin, and her series, the Dublin Murder Squad series. The series starts in 2007 with Into the Woods. Will leave a picture of the first book here, and she has now published 6 books in the series. As I said, police procedurals center around a police officer, and that's no different in Tana French's series. So it's set in Dublin or in the outskirts of Dublin, and there's one police officer or two police officers central to each book in the series, and then one of the two will be the center in the next series. So it's not a series in which you have one policeman carrying the whole series, which makes it interesting, especially if you don't want to commit to a whole series, but you might want to start with the 5th book or the 6th book, or you don't want to start with book 1 and then carry on. So then Tana French is a good pick because she changes her main police character in each book. But if you read it as a series, you will have, the additional knowledge of where the people come from. So you can read it as a series, but you can also read them as a standalone. Tana French writes really fast-paced, very well written, very detailed books. And what I like about her a lot, something that I really care for, is the sense of place. I like crime books, especially if it's a series, that are firmly grounded in a certain place, so that you can, when you continue with the series, that you can really get a feel for that place. And in this case, it's Ireland and Dublin. Her books are called thrillers, but they are not that bloody. There is a murder in all the books, but if you are more of a little bit of faint-hearted reader who don't want to have, blood spattering around on each page, then Tana French is certainly a good choice because it is suspenseful and the clues are placed really intelligently, but it's not a slasher like Karen Slaughter would be, for instance. So I can certainly recommend Tana French. If you are into that kind of police crime books, then you might want to try out her Dublin Murder Squad series. The second author and series I want to talk to you about might be a little bit more of a commitment, because I would really recommend that you start with the first book in the series, and that is Donna Leon and her Commissario Brunetti series. She started the series in 1992 and has written a book ever since, so we're 26 books in. So I know it's quite a commitment. Donna Leon is now in her mid-70s. She, despite the name, is not Italian. She was born in New Jersey. She's an American. She traveled as a teacher, English for as a foreign language, all over the world, and then at a certain point in the late 80s, she settled in Venice and has been living in Venice ever since. Donna Leon is her real name. She was born Donna Leon, just, you know. Like I said, the series starts in 1992 with Death at La Fenice, which is a theater, an opera theater in Venice. And all her books are set in Venice, centering around that one commissario, Guido Brunetti. So we have him as a central character in all her books, and also his colleagues. So then you have his boss, who is unbelievably stupid and corrupt. You have his other colleagues who will, you know, stay in the books throughout the series. And what I like about Donna Leon's books especially is the same thing that I already mentioned with Tana French, is the sense of place. I think I learned more about Venice and about Italian politics through Donna Leon's books than through any other non-fiction book I read about the subject. So she really tackles society, the way Italian society in general and Venetian society in particular works, themes like corruption, how the police works, how, you know, police corruption works. She also at times looks at crimes that are in the focus, like environmental issues, but the center is always a murder, and in each book this murder will be solved mostly. I know, like I said in the beginning, it is a commitment, 26 books, but if that's too much for you, just try the first one, Death at La Fenice, to see whether you like her style. And then, as I said, you can read them as a standalone, so you can, you know, pick up the last in the series and see whether you like it. But I highly recommend starting with the first. If you want to invest in a new procedural crime series, then that series, the Brunetti series, would be certainly a very good pick. So this was it, the first video in this new series, Crime Ladies. Let me know whether you enjoyed this, whether you want me to continue with the series talking about female crime writers. Let me also know whether there are certain topics you want me to discuss in crime fiction, in the genre, whether it's a certain author or a series or a certain topic or theme, or things like what I feel makes a good crime novel, how you write a crime novel. I'm open to suggestion for this series, but my main question is, do you like this? Do you like the series? Do you want me to continue? And then I promise I will, and I will try to upload you know, one installment in the series at least once a month. So this was it. Thank you very much for watching. Like I said, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will read that in the comments whether you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon in my next video. Bye-bye.